everyone. Welcome to the Legislative Committee for Independent District 191. We have myself, Leslie Chester, and
Tony Connor.
Here. Director Werb is unable to join us today. We only have one topic on the agenda for those watching online. We're discussing about drafting a letter to legislators regarding SROs and the new legislation. And there's been a lot of talk about that, a lot of things happening. When I had asked Director Werb for her thoughts prior to tonight's meeting too, so that we at least had the three of us to have ideas. And I also had conversation with Chair Hume last week because things keep changing. One of the things to note came out of the AMSD update regarding continued discussions on CRO clarification, indicating that already Attorney General Keith Ellison, Governor Walz had met with the Minnesota Police and Peace Officer Association, the Minnesota Chiefs of Police Association, the Minnesota Sheriff's Association, and the League of Minnesota Cities, as well as other legislative leaders, I believe including House Speaker Hortman and Senate Majority Leader Dreisig. So indicating that they have been talking about and wanting to come to consensus and address the things that we're all concerned about in terms of the new legislation. And so hearing that, talking to Chair Hume, and want to hear your thoughts too, Tony, as well as your all thoughts to that any letter coming from our district would be in more in support of those continued dialogues amongst those parties, and supporting that, because it's hard to say that we want to ask for a special session if they're already talking. It's kind of how we feel, or how I've been feeling. I'm not sure. We'll love your input too, but that's kind of where talking to a few people, that's where we're leaning, or a few of us are leaning, not as a board. I can't speak as a board because we're only one of sevens. So, Director Connor?
Okay. I also read that, the letter or the information from Governor Walz and our Attorney General Keith Ellison, that they are continuing talks. I'm happy that they are. And it said that they did look positive, that the outcomes look positive. Not quite sure if they're being optimistic, but I hope so. And I would like to see continued talks, because I think we need the SROs in the school. I would like them to be there. But if not, and we have to go through other measures, then I'm hoping it would be something more along the lines of staff that we train that could handle these situations. But that's where I'm at right now. So I'm just glad they're doing the continued talks, and I'm optimistic that they will come to some type of agreement.
Dr. Battle, what are your thoughts too?
So thank you, Director Chester and Director Connor. So you mentioned we are members of the AMSD, Association of Metropolitan School Districts, and you referenced that what they sent out to us. As you shared, there were continued talks. There were some other interested parties who also responded to Attorney General Keith Ellison's last updated, his supplemental opinion about it. And so one was the Post Board, another one was the Minnesota Sheriff's Association, who said the meeting yesterday was productive, as we discussed. I think cities may still be waiting on the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust. So they're working on new guidance. That was their, AMSD reported that they are working on new guidance, training materials, and sample scenarios to help members understand the law and be able to assess and manage any potential risk. So regarding a letter, we'll take down the notes. Aaron and I will take down the notes that you want included in the letter for review by the full board. Could bring it, next meeting, is that committee reports?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yep.
So-
So Thursday's
You
meeting.
had mentioned you support continued dialogue among the parties you mentioned, and I can list from AMSD, all
Yep.
of those parties you mentioned.
Yeah, and I think the letter should go to all of those parties, is what I'm thinking, not just our
Other
legislators.
questions you have?
Me personally, or?
Yeah. in
No, I think
drafting?
that's clear. You
Yeah.
just are encouraged by the talks and want to encourage those to continue to come to a resolution.
Yep, yep, so that we can continue our, our partnership with our local law enforcement.
Okay.
Because I think as I've been following, I don't know if it didn't seem that there was a embracement of the idea of a special session regarding this. I think their solution are these talks.
Yeah.
Is what I'm following.
See that in our update from AMSD.
In the letter I read from Angie Craig, she's trying to avoid that. She would rather have
But
just
she's at-
continued talks. I understand.
The US Senate, that's not,
She's not with
represents,
the
she's not
state,
in the
yeah.
Minnesota legislature, so yes. Yeah. So no, I didn't see that.
Because I
It
think,
says at this time, it appears that further clarification will not come until the 2024 legislative session.
Okay.
So that's not a special,
Yeah,
that's
okay.
the regular.
so just
I would
regular,
suggest that they're not headed towards a
Yeah.
special
They're
session
not,
right now.
right,
Yeah.
they're not.
yeah.
That's the reference to that.
So if anything were to happen, it would be in this upcoming legislative session, not calling for a special session. Okay, yeah.
But she would have been part of the special session if they had one, right? She wouldn't?
No, she's the
No,
US
she's,
Congress.
she's, yeah, US
Yeah,
Congress.
no. She's so much here.
She writes me letters like they're personally to me, so.
I mean, I would assume that she would be reaching out to the fellow legislators locally.
One clarification, you said copy to all of the parties. Did you want it to one person, maybe the leaders, and then copied on other? Because there's quite a lot. I don't know how you reference.
That's
Well, I
what-
meant like
all
send
the
it,
people.
send it to the all those officers associations too, to say that we want to encourage them to keep talking.
Yeah.
You know-
Perhaps address it to the governor and the
Yep.
legislative leaders.
Yep.
And then CC it to the organizations that have been involved, from
Yep.
AMSD to the Sheriff's Association, et cetera.
Yep.
Yep, yep,
Said Walls,
exactly.
Attorney General Ellison, Minnesota Police and Peace Officers Association, Chiefs of Police Association, Minnesota Sheriffs, League of Minnesota Cities, and legislative leaders.
Yep,
is
and
what
I would
they
even call out the House Speaker and the Senate Majority Leader in there
And
too,
Dietzick.
by name.
Portman and
Dietzick.
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 I think that's right.
Okay, that was my last question. Yep, Senate Majority Leader Carrie Dietzick and Hortman.
And then as
Yeah,
next
okay.
steps, once there's a draft, is that something that is gonna require like board approval or action? That's
So
the question
that's
I'm
why
not
I'm
sure.
asking if it then, we draft something and you share it in your legislative committee update for their
Ooh.
review. I don't know.
Or-
Process.
I'm not positive either. The legislative committee hasn't pushed anything out besides a platform.
Form.
Right,
And
and that's
gotten-
voted upon by the
gotten
whole
approved
board.
By the board in the past. So perhaps, the board, I think, would have to make that decision whether they're comfortable
Right.
just directing Dr. Battle to send that out on the legislative committee's behalf, or if they would need to add an agenda item or approve it at a future meeting.
So I'll work with the officers
Yeah, Okay. That would be perfect.
It's not this Thursday, is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 2 days
Oh,
from now.
okay.
Yeah,
All right, so I have to,
Is that gonna be enough
the
time?
officers, if we're gonna put it on the agenda.
yeah.
Okay.
Ask that, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's
Okay.
too late to put it on the agenda, if it's,
Remember, you can always change the
amend.
agenda and
Oh.
amend the agenda.
Oh,
from the
sure.
floor,
That's
too.
true.
Yeah, I just
that's
need to
true.
alert
We
the
do vote
officers.
to approve that at the beginning of the meeting.
Okay.
Would have to ask if there are any changes to the agenda.
Yeah.
Which is normal process, yeah.
Yep, okay,
Okay.
cool, that'd be great, because I just want to make sure we're following the right protocol with that, for
Have
sure.
Ready for you to share.
Yeah.
We'll send it to you. as you
Great.
direct it. Okay.
Anything else?
No.
No, I think we have adjourned our quick little meeting here.
Okay,
At
thank you.
6:18 PM.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.